This podcast is brought to you by Most Valuable Podcasts, leading the league in podcasting entertainment.
What's up, everybody? Ricky Widmer here, along with the Mark Weber.
Dub them ease.
And we are back, Mark.
Yes.
Like me, myself, you, everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it has been weird. So, for the last, 2 podcasts? We did the AFC East.
Yep.
Was both you and I.
Mm-hmm.
Then the NFC East was you were over here.
Yep.
Sean was over there.
I was on the wrong side of the table.
And then the AFC North, it was I was over here, but you were not here with me. You went and saw Russell Wilson without me.
Yep.
You went to visit Pete Carroll, Russell Wilson.
Yeah,
I hear Richard
It
Sherman wasn't in town.
He was not. I had asked if he could hang out with us as well, and he was not available.
But I do hear that, Cam Chancellor's still there. The boys are still in town in Seattle, but it's good to have you back here on the Onside Kick, where we talk everything that's good in the NFL, continuing our NFL previews, and we are looking forward again. And this time we are looking at to me, Mark, I am biased when I say this, the best division in all of football. The one that not only does my favorite team reside in, your favorite team resides in, a division that both you and I live in because we live in Illinois, so we live and breathe this division.
Yep.
It's the NFC North. That's what
right.
we're looking at today. We're going to be looking at all 4 teams, starting with the low, going up to the high. So I get to sit back and wait until we talk about my favorite team. We get to talk about Mark's favorite team up first. But before we get into those teams, let me take you through a little bit of housekeeping. And if you guys are watching and supporting, thank you guys for supporting us on YouTube and iTunes and podcast services around the world. But if you want to help support us more than you already are, make sure to check out patreon.com/mostvaluablepodcast. We have a $10 tier where you can come and join a podcast and talk about whatever topic you would like. That link down below in the description. We also have our store where you can get our own MVP t-shirt. You can also get that on mostvaluablepodcast.com, where you can catch MVP each and every day. And then last but not least, if you're on Apple Podcasts, you're on iTunes, make sure to go and give the Onside Kick and all the MVP podcasts a 5-star rating. And then tell us why you love listening to the podcast each and every week. But Mark, let's get into everything. We're going to start with your team, the Bears.
It's the way to start.
I'm going to ask you this to start.
Yes.
What should, with you being the Bear fan in the room, what should be the realistic expectations for Matt Nagy and this offense? Because Trey Burton today, he's saying that tons, and I'm using air quotes because he said quotes, there are tons of similarities between the Eagles and the Bears.
Yeah, I mean, really the realistic expectations, Super Bowl win for the Bears.
Super Bowl, Super Bears?
Yep. Go with the perfect season. 18-1. 18-1, perfect season. The joke's always more fun when Sean's here to make it at. But no, I think a very realistic expectations for the Bears. And coming off of a 5-11 season, but with changes, with new players, with a lot of adapting, 7-8 wins. I hate to say it because I am a Chicago Bears fan. I own a Mitch Trubisky jersey.
Are you saying like realistic, like, yes, we're going to win 7 or 8, or like that's our top end?
I say that is the realistic. I could see the Bears being a 7 or 8 win team. That is not a,
for sure.
Put your money on 5 wins because I guarantee you we're getting 5.
Yeah.
I honestly feel like with this schedule, because it is a more difficult schedule than last season, the Bears could sit there and be a 5-win team again. And that's not a bad thing. I knew that this was going to come up. Ricky, earlier today, I'm thinking about what I'm going to say about the Bears, and I'm like, people are going to get mad because I'm going to talk about moral victories again. And people get so mad when I do it. But as long as this team looks better, that is okay with me as a Chicago Bears fan. That is okay with me as somebody talking about the Bears because, let's face it, They're going to play a lot of difficult teams. The NFC North is a very good division. They're going to have to play the Patriots, the Seahawks. They're going to have to go and play old Adam Gase, the old offensive coordinator with the Dolphins.
Let's just say you're going to have to play the entire NFC West.
Yes.
Like, besides the Cardinals, the rest of those 3 games, and even the Cardinals, depending on what kind of a quarterback they throw out there.
But this is week 3, so
it could be Josh Rosen.
It could be Sam Bradford still playing because he is still healthy. Really, when you look at the schedule, and I mean no offense to any teams, the only games that you sit there and feel very confident if you're a Bears fan are probably things like Buccaneers, Cardinals, Dolphins, Jets, Bills. I just named 5 teams. Maybe you can throw the Giants in there.
I would not throw the Giants in there.
I wouldn't either. I like the Giants this year. I'm giving you 5 games where I'm sitting there saying the Bears should walk in there and feel confident that they can win those games. It's not a guarantee they're going to win them, but I said 5. That means there's 11 other games where we're sitting there going, hey, if the Bears win this one, be happy.
Well, and for me with the Bears, the thing is, like, when you say moral victories, yeah, that's kind of what this season is going to be.
You just want to see a team getting better.
You do want to see it be you get more wins, because I'll be completely honest. When I was a Viking fan and we were more towards the not dead last, but was like, wow, we are obviously behind the top 2 teams in the division. It was no fun. Like, it's no fun looking at this team and going, you know what? When are we going to get back to the 10 wins, the playoffs, being contenders in this tough NFC? But to me, the big thing with the Bears is the offense is going to be better. The defense should be just as good because you got good pieces coming in.
You had a top 10 defense. You got a new
Vic
center.
Staying and that whole system.
By center, I mean Roquan Smith.
Yeah. Here's the thing with the whole team. You said it's a schedule. You're not beating when I say you're not beating the Vikings twice, I will put an asterisk next to the week 11 game because I know there's always a chance that the Bears upset us in Chicago at Soldier Field. I know there's always that chance.
Yeah.
You almost did it last year. You usually find a way to upend us in Chicago. So, although I say you're not beating the Vikings, that's a Viking game where the Vikings are coming off of a bye, so maybe that plays into it as well. But I always put an asterisk next to that game. Then you got the Packers. As long as Aaron Rodgers is healthy this year, the Bears are not beating the Packers.
I actually think the Bears have a decent shot against the Packers because of the defense.
That leaves the Lions.
As long as Nagy's offense is going to actually perform at a level where it can keep up with a high-powered offense.
See, and I don't think that the Bears are going to be able to keep up with Aaron Rodgers. He will be the different factor.
The fortunate thing is
the X factor is what I'm saying.
Week 1, it's at Lambeau. That's a loss. I'm okay with it being a loss as long as the team starts looking good.
Might even be the Packers are trying to fight for playoff position
possible.
Too.
Hey, I don't care if we win 5 games this season. If the Chicago Bears can be the reason that makes one of the reasons, but the reason that the Packers don't make the playoffs, that's a Super Bowl victory.
Yeah.
I feel good about that. That's good. The thing for the Bears is they have this good defense. It really comes down to 2 things. Is Matt Nagy going to be the real deal? Is he actually going to be a good coach? Because he just is this hotshot offensive coordinator. Those don't always pan out. And 2, is Mitch Trubisky actually going to be the quarterback of the future? Because they have all these weapons for him to throw the ball to. They have 2 great, completely different running backs out there. The offensive line it could be better, but it is a good, above average offensive line. And people and Chicago Bears fans are probably going to get mad at me for just saying it's above average. But there are some things that I need to see get better. The defense, I can't say enough good things about the defense with maybe an exception of the defensive backs, but they played their hearts out last year. So really it just comes down to that. Trubisky's got to be really good with the ball. He's got to come off strong. He's been putting in a lot of work in the film room and watching and doing all that he can to come out there and be that leader. Year 2, the teammates have already said they love what they see out of him. He really is taking command. All that's great. But we saw some good moments. We saw some bad moments last year. This year, we need to see less bad moments, and we need to see a lot more good moments because it's not John Fox saying, I'll let him throw 7 times. It's going to be Matt Nagy saying, I'm going to let him throw 30 times.
To me, the focal point for me with the Bears when I'm watching them this year will not be the defense. I will not be focusing on the defense only because I'm not worried about the defense in Chicago.
Yeah.
The thing that I want to see is this offense because the reason is me not being the Bear fan in the room, all I've heard this offseason, got the new high-flying offense for Nagy's system. Mitch Trubisky going to make the next step in his second year. Then you've got look, we got Allen Robinson, we got Taylor Gabriel, we got Kevin White coming back to be these main weapons for Mitch Trubisky. Look at that at tight end. We bring in Trey Burton to be the guy at tight end for us. I need to see this offense. If I'm a Bear fan, I need to see this offense put up points. Because I look at last year, and I'll just read down the total in both wins and losses.
Yeah.
17, 7, 23, 14, 17, 27, 17, 12, 16, 24, 3, 14, 33, 10, 20, and 10.
It's a top 10 defense last year.
One time they scored over 30 points. Only 2 other times they scored over 20 points.
Well, yeah, you're talking about the offensive side.
Yeah.
You got a top 10 defense here. This offense is going to have to
put
play
points on the board.
Because this was the worst passing game in the NFL last year. And part of that is you have a rookie. The other part is you have a coach that doesn't want to pass the ball. Then you give him a rookie, and he really doesn't want to pass the ball. I mean, you had...
Well, and that's what I'm saying. With Nagy this year, then, the biggest change I need to see
is from
John Fox to Nagy is putting points up on the board and helping out that defense.
The Bears last year scored an average of about 2 touchdowns a game. That's pathetic. That's absolutely pathetic. You're not going to win games like that. You're not going to win
games doing that.
Yeah, your top 10 defense is giving up an average of about 3 touchdowns a game. And that's a top 10 defense. That's an issue. You know, like I said, it's the worst passing game in the NFL. And they didn't throw for yards. They didn't throw for very many touchdowns. The running game bailed out the Bears plenty of times. And Mitch Trubisky, when he come in, like I said, he had some great moments. He made some great throws. A lot of the issues that we also saw with Mitch Trubisky was simply not his fault because passes were dropped. That's not his fault. He did everything he needed to do, but he also made some dumb rookie decisions because he was a rookie. Coming in this year, you're hoping he watches that tape. I think that, you know, a guy you don't mention, but I think will make a good addition on the offensive side is Anthony Miller. That's going to be a really great receiving option for him. I mentioned the offensive line. I need to see a little bit better. Whitehair did not play as well as he did at his first year at center. Second year at center, he somehow forgot how to snap the ball. Part of that could be on Trubisky as well, because they did make a big deal about how that transition from being in the shotgun to going under center. But in addition of James Daniels, who was a center, so you have that option, but they're going to supposedly they're going to keep Whitehair at center and move Daniels over to a guard position. But hopefully that's going to help kind of shore up this line a little bit. The line's had some injury issues in the past, and if you're a Chicago Bears fan, you know all about having a bad offensive line and what it does to your quarterback.
My favorite thing from Anthony Miller this offseason, this was a while ago, but I'm just going to read this for you a little bit. This was when Miller was speaking to Matthew Berry at the NFLPA rookie premiere, and Berry told Miller that he predicts 52 catches, 657 yards, and 4 touchdowns for Miller. Anthony Miller's response to that was 4? That's too low. That's like 2 games for me. I just think I'm going to score at least 8 touchdowns. And that, to me, as a Bears fan, that's what I want to hear. But the thing is, we're around Chicago, Mark.
Yeah.
We're a kind of people where, yeah, you can say the right things, But unless Anthony Miller goes out there and shows it,
You gotta
and
back
this
it up
team
totally.
puts up points on the board, then it's not going to mean anything. It's not going to mean anything to the fans in Chicago. It's not going to mean anything in the end because talk is cheap and actions speak louder than words. So for me with the offense, that's the big thing. Can you put points up on the board? Because in the end, points win you games. Now, going back to what you said at the very beginning, the schedule's difficult. Because of that, I don't know if the points are going to be at a premium for the Bears. Might not be as bad as last year, but I don't know if they're at a premium. I don't see you guys winning against the Vikings, although I put that asterisk against the home game. I don't see you guys beating the Packers. The Lions are a question mark to me. I got you 1-1 against them, winning each game at home, but what are you going to do there? You play the Patriots. Basically, the rest of the NFC East you can't beat, but the Dolphin, to me, is a coin flip game. Then you have the NFC West, which is basically the opposite, where it's like, great, you can beat the Cardinals, but I don't see you beating the Niners on the road. I don't see you beating the Rams, even though that's in Chicago. I don't see you beating the Seahawks right now, although their defense is vastly different than what we're used to seeing. So the question to me is, are Bears fans going to be okay with a 5-11 year where the Bears put up a few more points than they did last year?
I think the issue is going to be in that is you're always going to have that Chicago Bears fan who's going to go out there and say, "Oh, nothing's any different," because that's the way it kind of is in Chicago, and every fan base has a little bit of that. But with a lot of, more often than not in recent memory, the Chicago Bears have seen bad days. More bad days than good days. So you get a lot of that. But I do think that with a new coach, with a young quarterback, with a lot of young pieces, you got to be okay with seeing some of that. As long as you're getting better. If I can sit there and say that, yeah, at the end of the season, I do truly believe Mitchell Trubisky is the franchise quarterback for the Chicago Bears in the future. He'll be here for the next 10, 12, 15 years, whatever. Then for me, I am very happy with that. Now, I want to also see the other side of that of, yep, Matt Nagy looks like he knows what he's doing, and I'm very confident in that. But a lot of people were confident after year one of Mark Trestman, and that didn't work out too well. It doesn't necessarily all rely on this 1 year, and there's a lot of pieces to this puzzle. I mean, a nice thing that we really want to see as well is continued production out of Jordan Howard.
I was just going to ask about him.
Jordan Howard needs to be a good part of this offense because everyone was scared in the offseason that, he doesn't really fit Matt Nagy's system. They might try and get rid of him. Matt Nagy needs to go out there and game plan very effectively to make sure that Jordan Howard is an effective part of the Bears offense. Because it's Chicago. It's a running team.
How do you think they're gonna use though Cohen and because Tariq Cohen's not just gonna be poof gone? He's not there. They're going to use him because to me, out of the two running backs, you look at Tariq Cohen, you're like, wow, he can do to me, he can do what Tyreek Hill does out of the running back position for the Bears.
Yeah,
for Matt Nagy.
I think the fear, of course, with Cohen's always going to be that Tariq Cohen's a small guy. He can get hurt easily. Now, that's not necessarily his fault or anything like that. And, hopefully the team is aware to not just sit there and what some Bears fans wanted is, yeah, go ahead and trade Jordan Howard. We have Tariq Cohen. That's not how it works. Those are completely different guys. You got to be careful. What I would love to see is, get him more involved in the run game. Have both running backs out there at the same time. And Mitchell Trubisky is mobile enough that where he can make stuff like that works to where all of a sudden the defense is scared of, there are three guys on this field right now. Any three of them can beat us on the ground. Mitch Trubisky is not a mobile quarterback necessarily, but he's got some of that in him. He's
got
athletic.
serviceable legs.
Yeah, exactly. You just got to make them scared. And the whole run-pass option thing, which Chicago is going to be, talking about nonstop, that's going to be very important. I mean, for the Chicago Bears' success, this is what I view. They really need to get Mitchell Trubisky to, be... I don't want to say... I'm not going to say that he should be a 4,000-yard passer this year. But if he can get to, 3,700, 3,800, you're going to be happy with that yardage-wise. That's just showing you that this offense is moving. I don't really care necessarily if he's throwing tons and tons of touchdowns because I want some of those touchdowns to go to Jordan Howard. I want some of those touchdowns to go to Tariq Cohen. I want that run game to be as effective. Jordan Howard's going to need to be a 1,000-yard rusher. Tariq Cohen, if this guy can get 800, 900 yards on the ground running the ball and then get another, 600 yards actually receiving the ball as well, that's just going to show you that you have almost everything moving the way it's supposed to. That's before you mention Burton. That's before you mention Miller. I don't care about White. I've given up on White, but that's before you mention Robinson. That's before any of this happens. And if you can still have a top 10 defense, there's no reason why the Bears won't steal a win from, let's say, the Packers. Let's say they, might steal, against a Vikings at home. There's no reason why they can't upset some of these teams. The unfortunate thing is you look at that schedule once again, and it's like, all right, they're going to San Francisco. You're going to New York. You're going, you get to play the Patriots at home. That's not one of the matchups you want to play at home.
You're still playing Tom Brady.
The upset you look at is maybe the Rams at home because you're hoping that the Rams maybe aren't all that they looked to be last year. Maybe they slow down a little bit.
They got, on paper though, they got better.
Oh, they
got better on paper.
Yeah.
I mean, they added pieces this year. Like, they're a team I might be a little bit more scared of this year than I was last year. Like, for me, how I'm looking at it is right now I've got 5 wins. At Arizona, home against Tampa Bay, home against New York, home or on the road against Buffalo, home against the Lions. Those are my 5 wins.
Yeah.
Now, I might be able to see 7. So 5 to 7 is my range. The 7 comes the Dolphins game. The Dolphins, I don't really know what we're going to get. That could be a toss-up. Bears coming off of a bye that week, even though it's in Miami. And then also, like I said, that Viking game in Chicago. Bears usually play the Vikings tough at home in Chicago. I wouldn't be surprised if that was a loss for the Vikings.
And I'm going to suggest a lot of Bears fans go this route as well, but they're not going to. But is the record is great. You want wins. The wins are what really matters. But
don't get hung up on it.
Don't get so stuck on that. Just let the team develop. What I care a lot about more is going to be...
Enjoy the ride, basically.
Kind of. I care a lot about yardage this year because I want to see that this offense is going to be productive. And part of that is you can't fail in the red zone. Because that's something the Chicago Bears have done for years now is absolutely stall every time they get into the red zone. You've got a 1,000-yard rusher. The Chicago Bears need a 1,000-yard receiver. They haven't had one in too long now. We got rid of Brandon Marshall. We got rid of Alshon Jeffrey. Those are 1,000-yard rushers. They're gone now. 1,000-yard receivers. They're gone now. They really need a 1,000-yard receiver, and I think they should have at least one. There's no reason why Robinson can't do it. If Miller can be all that he's cracked up to be as well, maybe he can be the guy who does it. They need something. And Mitchell Trubisky is really going to need that as well because, yes, he's going to lean on Howard, and Tariq Cohen's going to be a nice change of pace, but he needs a guy that, as a sophomore, he can rely on to kind of bail him out sometimes because he's going to need that, but also just be a very reliable target. They've got tall receivers. Let's go back to the Jay Cutler days of, I got 3 guys. I can throw it up in the air, and one of them's coming down with it.
Yeah, part of me feels like, and maybe this isn't 100% correct, but I feel like some Bear fans out there might get hung up on I know it's not exactly Matt Nagy, but like when Andy Reid came over to KC, where it's like, you know what? He's going to come over, we're going to shoot right up to the top.
Yeah.
The main difference, though, that you have to think of is it's not the same situation. I know that the Chiefs went from a 2-win team, then went, boom, 11-5, Andy Reid's first season. I know Matt Nagy wasn't there till 2016, 2017. Bears are in a completely different situation. Vikings have a star player at almost every position on that entire team.
Yep.
You have the Packers who have arguably the second best quarterback in football right now. Like, many people put him and Tom Brady at the top. We've had discussions of who's the GOAT, Tom Brady or Aaron Rodgers. He's the second best quarterback in the NFL right now. To me, it's a way tougher division. The Bears, to me, 5-11 is what I see. Main thing I want to see is, like you said, not putting points up on the board. What's a way you don't do that? You don't stall on offense.
Yeah.
You keep those offensive possessions moving. You rack up yards on offense, because if you're racking up yards, you're getting down the field. You're doing what? Putting points up on the board. At the end of the day, no matter how you look at it, what do you want to get better at? It has to lead to points on the board.
And that's something that for 3-4 years now, the Bears have not been able to do it. They just have not been able to score points. And that's what Matt Nagy has been brought here to do, to shoot the offense in the arm and get them revitalized and start to move it. I mean, this is a completely different Bears team.
Because I look at it and I go, the Falcon game last year, the Viking game last year, I'll even throw the Saint game last year, the Lions, the 49ers, the Lions again. There was 6 games that were close games for the Bears. As a fan, I'd rather sit there and go, hey, look, we were in so many close games last year, and our offense is good. Rather than, hey, we were in so many games last year, yeah, but we probably would have won those games if our offense was better.
And that's what it was. You had a bad offense, and the defense kept you close, but the offense was never going to be able to get you above. Where this year, at least if you get there, you have that chance. And you mentioned 6 close games in that case, and you can start to flip maybe 2 or 3 of those ones when you have a better offense and put yourself in place. Because, like I said, this is a different Bears team now. The rebuild is not 100% done, but we're like a year away from the Bears being at a spot where they can actually start really, truly competing.
The huge difference, though, and the main difference, and this is what I'll say before I kick it to you guys for the comments, is basically last year it was the AFC North and the NFC South. Take those away, and you're mixing them with the AFC East and the NFC West. Yep. Wrong division.
Yeah, I mean, 4 of the Chicago Bears wins came from the AFC North.
Exactly. And you don't get to play them this year.
4 of 5.
We go a little bit over. You're looking at our logo right now, but this is where you guys come in. Let us know what you think down below in that comment section. What do you think from the Bears this year? Will the offense be better? We didn't really focus too much on the defense, but my whole view is that the defense will be fine this year. It's the same defense that you can expect from the Bears last year. Let us know what you guys think for the Bears down below in that comment section.